Hey there, G3 here, and today I'm making a video that was prompted by an awesome comment left on one of my videos by ZapItEDM. Zapit is a prospective 40k player, and to get into the hobby he is splitting the Dark Vengeance starter box with a friend. Because I started with the same set and went on to continue collecting these armies, I thought it would share my experiences, mistakes, advice on the starter box, and do a little walkthrough style video. So I'll be dividing this video up into two parts. Part 1, I'll take a look at the building the models, painting them, and learning the rules. In Part 2, we'll talk about the balance of the two forces included in the Dark Vengeance box set, explore their codices, which I have both of, and I'll share some potential lists to make battling these forces more exciting and maybe more evenly matched. So let's get into it. In the box itself, you'll find a stack of sprues, a bag of bases, dice, some bright green templates. The reading materials included in the box are the rulebook, a data slate for an independent chaos character called Vrosh Tattersoul, it's pretty cool, and an instruction leaflet for building the models, and a short pamphlet called How to Play with the words "Read this first" in bold on it. Despite that label, I initially found this pamphlet confusing. The first few pages talk about game elements like dice, models, and measuring, which if you bought the game you're probably already familiar with from watching battle reports on the internet and stuff. Then it launches into its own bat rep, which I found hard to follow, but we'll get into rules later. So the instruction leaflet does a great job of explaining step by step how to build your models. Each piece is numbered on the sprue, so all you have to do is match the piece to the diagram and follow along. This process, though, always takes a little longer than you'd expect, so set reasonable expectations for yourself. Maybe glue like 5 models per hobby session. Don't expect to do them all at once. For equipment, it depends on your budget. If you're broke already from buying this expensive-ass box set, and you want to go the cheap route, all you really need is an X-Acto blade or hobby knife and some craft glue. Most models require super glue, however, the models in the Dark Vengeance box set have nice little pegs and holes, so they can actually stay together without any glue at all. I recommend using at least craft glue, though. However, the bases just have little slots for the models to stick into. I would advise not gluing them into those base slots just yet, but just slotting them into the bases and standing them up on their own. The reason for this is you may not care about putting scenic basing material on your models at first, but it never hurts to have the option later, and that way you don't have to yank the glued bases off the models. If you want to go the more expensive route, however, I recommend one of GW's Citadel Hobby starter sets. As far as I know, they run about $35 in the US, but come with an assortment of paints, basing materials, glue, sprue cutters, and a paintbrush. While you're building your models, I would also suggest watching online tutorials on how to play 40k. I know that Mini Wargaming has a great video, but there are definitely lots of others as well. This way you multitask, as well as get yourself into the 40k mood. Once you've cut out all the models using your knife or clippers, glued them together, and slotted them into the bases, you're actually able to start playing. However, you may wish to get to painting. This, again, depends on your budget. No matter what, I would not buy the GW Spray Primer. If you're buying the bundle where it comes with the box set, then fine, but they charge extra for something that is sold at every hardware store. I would wait a while to let paint scheme ideas come to you before diving in, although you could always jump in with the narrative and do the paint style depicted on the box. The Dark Angels of the Adeptus Astartes, their infantry are dark green, their bikers are black, and their terminators are bone white. You can see them on the right side. Right there. The Chaos Warband, which Chaos is very eclectic in their paint schemes. This is a renegade legion known as the Crimson Slaughter. Their paint scheme is red and gold. The main thing to remember for primer is that if you want to paint the models dark colors, prime them black. If you want to paint them light colors, prime them white. If you're not sure, just prime them gray, and everything should work out just fine. If you buy the aforementioned GW Hobby starter set, you'll have some paints already. But if you're not much interested in painting, I would buy at the very least 2 small model paint pots or droppers, one a metallic color and the other whatever base color you want for your army. Starting off with just a base coat allows you to get some tabletop quality models in-game without spending ages painting, and it also allows you to go back and paint some more detail in later if you feel like it. Painting takes a long time, and it's difficult, but you get better with practice. Keep painting, you can look to the internet for resources, and don't feel like you're a bad painter just because your models look different than the picture on the box. Finally, if you've been watching YouTube rules videos while you build and paint your minis, you might have a general grasp over the game concepts by now. At this point, I would say just relax, take a few evenings, and just casually read through the whole rule book. It might seem like a lot, but half the stuff in the book won't even apply to you yet. For example, you can skip everything about super heavies, flyers, gigantic monstrous creatures. In the end, the game boils down to the movement phase, psychic phase, shooting phase, combat phase, in that order. And it's divided that way up in the book. So, this concludes part 1, and look out for part 2, where we'll take a look at the balance these two armies have. I'll whip out both their codices, and we'll take a look at some army lists and alternate builds you can do with the models you just bought. Thanks. See you in the next one.